Here we go. Good morning, kids. It's the B Cup. And it's January 23rd already. Whoa. And I'm doing a little early, but it's 8:34. I'm going to do my disclaimer, but actually someone had a great idea. I put my disclaimer in the description of the show. So I'll be doing that later today, so I don't have to do this nonsense anymore. But I do the disclaimer for a reason because there's some people out there who don't like my voice and they don't want me to have a voice. So they say stuff like, he's saying this, about this, about this, about this, and about the community. I'm not saying anything about the community except for what I and my opinion is. So it's why I have to do this disclaimer so that people don't think I'm speaking for the community. It's Today we're going to talk about this idea of bullying, and because it is bullying. I personally believe it's bullying when you call people out in public without having a discussion about it first. So the disclaimer is I don't represent any community, LGBTQ or otherwise, specifically the transgender community. So I really want to talk about why we feel the need to call out in public without having the discussion with the exact person that you feel like calling out behind the scenes first. Like for me, for example, do you know what I would do? I would, if I had a problem with you, what I would do is I would call you on the phone. No, just kidding. I would reach out to you in a personal way and in a private way. And then I would have the discussion with you. And then if you didn't listen to me, I would maybe publicly. I don't know. I just feel like public calling out is, in a sense, bullying. And maybe I feel that way because it happens to me sometimes. And it feels like bullying. Good morning, Sarah. We're going to talk about bullying. Hi, Ty. How are you? I haven't seen you in so long. I hope you're okay and everything's going good. It's funny because look what I'm wearing and I know where you live. So you must laugh at when I'm wearing all these clothes because I'm so cold in Los Angeles where it's maybe 50 degrees. And where are you, my friend? Deep in the snow, Ty. Deep in the snow. So right on. Mm. Now I was just having a little private time with YouTube kids here, and now I'm gonna go on start the Facebook. But I like to have a little private time with you because my attention uh, gets focused on Facebook, and then I don't really get New Hampshire, right? I don't get to really have a conversation with you kids alone. So, so it doesn't feel so private. But I really want to talk about bullying within our own community, and that doesn't necessarily mean just the transgender community or the LGBT community. It happens within the pornographic community. Because I'm gonna talk about something that happened recently that is really sad. Don't wake up hungover. You know what? CBD helps you with a hangover. You won't have a hangover if you use CBD. That's one of the great things about CBD is that. So, hi, good morning, Facebook. Good morning, B Cuppers. Good morning. It's January 23rd. It's Tuesday. This month is moving along. I want to do a disclaimer, but I want to talk to you about the disclaimer. I'm going to add it to the description so we don't have to do this stuff anymore. So my disclaimer is that I don't speak for any community. I don't speak for the LGBT community, and I don't speak for specifically the trans community. I speak my own opinions and my own thoughts, and I encourage you to have your own thoughts and opinions. Let's do this. Let's have dialogue. Let's speak to each other. Because when we speak to each other and we have different opinions, that creates a discussion. Good morning, Shelby, my beautiful friend, and Tony from Germany. Good morning. I hope that you guys all have your coffee. Because bullying doesn't just happen in the LGBT community. It also happens in another community that I belong to, and that community is the pornographic community. So it happens in a lot of communities. So I'm not necessarily targeting the LGBT community. I'm targeting communities in general. And within inside those communities, there are people that just dislike each other or feel the need to push against each other. And I really want to have this discussion because I think it's an important discussion. So good morning, Jennifer and Eric and Zoe and Shelby. Shelby was like, I don't know if you were my girlfriend back in the day, but we were definitely dating and we were definitely doing our thing, my friend Shelby. So Shelby knows me before my transition. That's how long we go back. And boy, do we have some stories. We should get together, Shelby, and like talk about it on the live show because I think it would be we were troublemakers. Shelby and I were troublemakers. But anyway, let's get back to the focus of morning talk. So good morning, Vincent and Katie. Is that how you say it, Katie? Buenos dias, my friend, and William. So what do you think is bullying? Maybe what you think is bullying and what I think of bullying is two different things. I think we were girlfriends. Shelby says we were girlfriends. It even sounds so funny to say that I was your girlfriend. Look at me now. Look at this ugly man now, right? That's so funny. So I was once somebody's girlfriend, kids. I was once somebody's girlfriend. I just think that's so awesome. Good morning, Sean. Nice to see you. And Farrell, nice to see you. So I'm doing really great. My life is amazing. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining about anything because there's no need to complain about anything. I have a B cup full of coffee and I have beautiful people in front of me. So honestly, I really, 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 really love that you guys always want to have these great conversations with me. But we always knew right. Yes, Shelby. Oh, one day we're going to talk about all of our stuff. But let's get back to this topic of bullying because bullying can mean different things for different people. I personally think we have a lot of bullying within our community towards each other, and we have now segregated these different communities within our community. Like there's the people who take hormones, and there's the people who don't have surgery, then there's the gender nonconforming, then there's the theys, then there's all kinds of new identities happening every minute of the day, which is brilliant and awesome, and I encourage it. But what I do discourage is this idea that your identity is better than another person's identity, or that you feel the need to say that whatever that person said is wrong when you might even be taking it out of context, because that happens a lot too on the internet. We take things out of context, or we hear what we want to hear without asking the person, what was your intent in that? So Jennifer says, I think bullying comes in all shapes and forms and affects any person and any community. Hi, Nate. Nice to see you. Katie says, to me, bullying is any behavior, statement, or action that is disrespectful, hurtful to others. That's exactly what I think bullying is. I also think bullying is not having conversation, but just attacking somebody because you don't like the way they dress, the way they act, what they're doing, how they're saying things, that you don't like their opinion. And that is bullying to me as well. Tony says, yeah, I don't exactly like being called a chaser. Yeah, that's rude. That's rude. Who said that? Who said that? Tony, that is rude. So I want to know, there's this idea that you are a chaser if you are cisgender and you are attracted to a transgender person. You're automatically fetishizing and you're automatically chasing. That is disgusting and wrong behavior. And actually, that is throwing our community back. You are not a chaser. You are not a chaser if you have some kind of attraction to anybody. And you're not fetishizing a trans person if you have a sexual attraction to them. This behavior, that is in a sense bullying. When you start to call cisgender people who are attracted to transgender people chasers, that's bullying. I totally think that's bullying. Zoan says, this exact conversation is one I have been trying to introduce to people in my world. This is important. Thank you, my friend. Petra says, bullying is unwanted aggressive behavior among people that involves a real or perceived power imbalance. The power is repeated and has the potential to be repeated over and over. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Let me see. This is going on. And Freebird says, I think bullying is when you try to make someone feel bad about themselves. That's bullying too. Or that you don't like the person's opinion about something, so you immediately attack them without understanding what? Intent and context are very important when you listen to somebody speak. I have been called out because people misunderstood my intent with what I have been saying. When you're a public figure or a public speaker, you get totally held under a microscope by this community. But the problem with that is that it's not going to shut me down, number one. Number two, you're not understanding the intent or the opinion of the person who is saying that. Everyone is entitled to an opinion. Everyone. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you dislike it. I don't care whatever. Every single person is entitled to an opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but you also have to respect other people's opinions. Now, We can get deep into that and we can say, well, what about racist KKK members? If we want to have a free America with freedom of speech, those wingnuts have to have a platform too. It's the way it works. They have to be able to speak their minds. I'm not saying it's okay. It's gross. It's disgusting behavior. But that's called a level playing field. We have to be able to have everyone speak their minds, whether or not we agree with it or not. But here's the deal. I'm also from the school of thought of this. If we don't listen to the wingnuts, if we don't let them have their place to speak, and we don't hear them speaking their crazy, hateful bullshit stuff, we don't know where they're coming from. That's exactly what happened with Trump and the reason why those fucking wingnuts are in office. We're not listening. We're just like shutting the conversation down. When you shut the conversation down, what happens to wingnuts is they go over here and they have their own conversation behind our backs. And then they figure out how to attack us because we don't know anything. Read books like, what is it? The Art of War. Things like that. That's real. It teaches you to understand your enemies. And I even hate that word. But we have enemies. And if we don't watch our enemies, we're in big shit trouble. Because guess what, people in America? That's exactly what happened. We weren't listening. We weren't paying attention. And because we weren't paying attention, we now have a fucking crazy shit happening in this country. It's taking us out. This is dangerous behavior, and why I believe in communication, dialogue, different opinions. And bad ideas eventually die out, William. You're totally right. Katie says, Buck, my friend who is gender fluid gets bullied by the community and LGBT community. What can I say? Both communities? Well, you got to tell me a little bit more about that because bullying happens everywhere across the line. But what is this person being bullied about? This is what we also need to understand. What is bullying? Bullying is abusive behavior, number one. Why are we not talking about it in a bigger platform, right? Why are we not saying, why are you worried about however anyone else is in this community, right? It's really important that we start to talk about this like how we talk, how me and you talk every morning about issues that are so hard to talk about. This isn't hard to talk about. It's not hard to talk about things that are destroying you. And if it's hard to talk about it, then you need to figure out why it's hard to talk about it. I don't find it hard to talk about the fact that I get bullied or that people bully in this community or that we can't have dialogue or discussion. You're not going to shut me down. This is the example I want you to see why I am this person, because you're not going to tell me I can't speak my mind, and you're not going to tell me that you're more powerful than me, because you're not. Nobody's more powerful than me unless I let them be more powerful than me. Do you understand this? Listen to me. The only reason why people are squishing you down or you're feeling inferior to another person is because you're letting them do that. You're letting them do that. Nobody in this community is better than me or worse off or worse than me. They might be worse off in certain situations. But no, we're all together. We're all here together. So why are we not actually sharing this space to give each other space to be free? Let me look at some. Oh, good morning, Smash. It's nice to see you. Good morning, Shiro. Nice to see you too, my friend. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. Katie says, oh, you have to choose. You can't be both, is what they say to them. You can be whatever you want. Who's ever being bullied out there, you tell them, shit. I gotta have some coffee. I just can't take bullying. I hate it. I was bullied as a little kid. I was bullied in this community. I hate bullying. I think it's the most disgusting thing we could ever do to each other. Phoenix says mental abuse is more painful than physical. It breaks down your soul. Good point. Andrew says, Buck, I thought Ivanka Trump cured bullying with that speech she made that one time. Okay. Katie, Pietra says gender fluid get bullied by cisgender and transgender because they don't have a gender. So both sides. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So then there's that. Then there's that. The gender fluid people are getting bullied by the trans people because they're saying, if you want to have respect for your identity, people, you have to give respect back. It's the only way it works. I respect you. I might not agree with everything you say, I might not like that you voted for Trump. I might not like that. But honestly, there are people who take people out of their lives when they voted for Trump. They won't speak to them. I disagree with that. I have actually some people that I know who voted for Trump. I don't agree with that. Now look where we are. But I'm not going to take you out of my life because the situation is this. There's a reason you voted for Trump, and I want to know why. What was the reason why? Most of the people in this country who voted for Trump, bottom line, my opinion, money. It's the only reason you would vote for some wingnut like that. Jennifer says, my ex-husband was abusive to me. I got the strength to take my children and leave. It was 17 years ago. I refused to be abused. I love you, Jennifer. That takes a lot of strength, especially when you're a woman married to, I'm just making the assumption it was a man. You said your husband. But in that situation, a lot of times, in those worlds where people are married, and they have children, and they've been married and for a while, it's a very difficult thing to get yourself out of that situation. So I commend you for having the strength to get yourself out of an intolerable, abusive situation. It's the same with bullying. That's an abusive situation that we must fix. Petra says non-binary gets bullied because cis and trans. Yeah, I get that. That's just horrible behavior. Good morning, Tori. Nice to see you. Melina. At the end, everybody will go to the same hole in the earth. Nick says people are not good at sharing and being open-minded. But why? Good morning, Barbin. But why? Nick says people are not good at sharing and being open-minded. Everyone thinks their way is the right way. I don't understand that behavior. Now, I actually am very in tune to my own self, and I really listen to myself, and I really have grown as a person because I love myself a lot. And by learning to love myself a lot, I have created a much more open mind, and I have created the idea that everyone is entitled to whatever the fuck they want. Whatever the fuck they want. As long as they don't attack. You could have your opinion, you could do everything, but don't attack. Have conversation. Attacking says to me that you're not strong in your thought, right? Zoan says, I've experienced shaming from one non-binary to appearing binary as well. We should all be... This whole thing is sick. William says, when standing up for something whose voice is more powerful, those who have something to gain or those who have something or nothing to gain. This is true too. But I have a very powerful voice, and I know that. But I don't do it because I want to gain anything. I do it because I want to see change, and I want to see more love and acceptance and compassion and understanding within the community. It has nothing to do with my gaining popularity, or I don't care about any of that. Sean says, good morning, Mao. Nice, Mao. Hate is consuming. Don't let it consume us too. Listen to the haters and maybe they will give us the same respect. Yeah, of course. But there has to be a point where we stop hating on each other. So I can listen to the hate all day long. I can have a conversation. But what I want to know is why. Why? Good morning, Papa. Good morning, Freebird and everybody over there. Freebird says, I can be the nicest person ever if you're nice to me. Yes, and that's the way it should be. Tori says, I don't understand because each person is individual. Tell me how to address you, and as long as it isn't crazy, master, mistress, I have no issue using Z either, or Zay. Of course not. If you tell me you are presenting as a giraffe, and that's what you want me to see you as, I'm going to see you as a giraffe because that's what you want. I don't know if the giraffe is he or she or however you want to be, but if you're a giraffe and that's what you want to be, go for it. That's my point. It doesn't matter whether or not I think you're a giraffe or I see you as a giraffe. If you tell me you're a giraffe, I am going to respect that because it's your choice. It's not mine. I'm not. Katie says, look at how many people criticize Prince for being androgynous. He was an awesome human being. Why can't we love people for... Because it's going against this idea that you have to fit in boxes, which is hilarious. But let's take that one step further. The other thing is this. So the whole point is that we don't fit in boxes. Yet there's this whole new community who are now creating more boxes for their identity, even though they think gender non-conforming is not a box. It is a box. There's no way in the world, I believe this, there is no way in the world that you cannot check a box. You have to check some type of identity. You can't be a non-identity person. It doesn't work. It won't work. Figure it out. If you figure it out, I commend you, but it's not possible. In some way, shape, or form, you have to identify as something in order for people, Z, X, all of those theys, that's still an identity. That's still an identity. Is it not? Shiro says, I've currently had to hide that I'm non-binary because I have to be in the US for my kids' treatment. It said, but I can't take the risk with only my own safety. Listen to me, Shiro. Who cares about that? Play the game. This is also a really important thing I'm going to tell you. There's a thing called play the game. And play the game is act as if you're part of to get through the system so that you can actually work on helping to change the system. I play the game every day. Every day I play the game. When I go to the airport and I wear long sleeves, right? And I cover all my tattoos and I put my glasses on and I wear nice clothes and I go to the airport like this. I look totally different. I was playing the game so I can get through security fine, so I don't have to deal with fucking people's nonsense, so I don't have to be stared at, so I can just go through the airport without any problem. That's playing the game. So sometimes you have to check another box. It's just a game. Sometimes maybe before I transitioned and had all this hair and was totally legally transitioned, I played the box to she box all the time. So what? If you know who you are, that's just a check in a box. It doesn't identify who you are. It's called playing the game to get further ahead. Sometimes you have to do it. I hate wearing suits, but sometimes I have to do it. Nick says people do not think they need to play the game. Playing the game will get you through life. It will get you through life so much smoother. And if you don't want to play the game, don't. Don't play the game. That's your choice, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have a much harder time getting to where you need to get. And playing the game isn't a cop-out. Playing the game isn't giving up. It's playing the game. Listen to the words, playing the game. It's playing. It's not real. It's a way to move through the world smoothly. And as you move through the world smoothly, you can make change. It's what I do every day. It's what I do every day. I play the game. I move through the world. When I go to the gym, let me use this as an example of playing the game. When I go to the gym, I put on my clothes. I go to the gym. I work out. What do I do after I work out? I go into the locker room. In the locker room, I strip off all of my clothes. When I strip off all my clothes, it means my underwear too. What happens is my vagina is there. What happens is there's tons of men in this locker room. I put a towel around my waist. I walk to the steam room. I sit in the steam room for 10 or 15 minutes. I walk out of the steam room. I take a shower naked. I walk around the gym without my towel on. Everyone looks at me. I'm playing the game, but I'm not playing the game. Do you understand? Now I pushed myself into the men's locker room, but now it's an opportunity for me to educate with my body. I do it every day, kids. Papa says, so I live in tiny city in Arkansas. I'm transgender FDM just like you, constantly getting harassed. Like Friday, I had a woman accidentally call me by my birth name, and a Vietnam veteran said, you are. My friend, Papa, the world is mean sometimes. The world doesn't understand us sometimes. We are very new to the world. People do that for many reasons. They can have the intent to hurt your feelings, or they might not understand what's going on. For me, I always like to take the high road. And so if somebody misgenders me, I pretty much know it's on purpose. Because look at me. There's no way they're misgendering me because of my appearance. They're doing it with intent to be malicious. That is one thing, and that I will not stand for. And I will call those people out publicly right there and then, because I know they're doing it with malice intent. Now, we have people who don't understand us and might slip up with our gender, might slip up because they know you from before, might still be having a problem with it, which they're really trying, but they don't know how. That's the other kind of person. And those are the people that you must distinguish who is what and who's worth your time to educate. Always use situations that are negative and try to find the positive. Because when you do that, you will be here and not here. You understand what I'm saying? When you find the positive and the negative, you will always be ahead of the game. And it's a real thing. Good morning, Sylvia. Nice to see you. Smash says, when you're in the locker room, does anyone ever say anything to you? Never. So never do I ever have any man ever, I'm telling you, ever say anything to me. What are they going to say? This is what you must understand. If you're struggling with your trans body as a trans man and you still have a vagina, listen to me. Be okay with it because nobody cares. I walk the world every day. People might say things behind my back. I don't really care how many things you say behind my back. Go ahead. But they never say it to my face, ever. And most men in there talk to me. I know all these guys. I show up to the gym every day. I've made a ton of cisgender man friends. They see me in that locker room naked every day. Nobody says a word to me. Nobody. I don't know what they're seeing, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm different. That's what I know. The thing that I know is my body is different than most of the cisgender men in that gym. And that's all I know. So they don't even know what they're seeing, possibly. But all I know is I get respect. Nobody says a word to me. Why is that? Why do you think that is? And it's excellent. Thank you. I really think that it is excellent, Smash, that none of the men say anything to me. Don't you think that speaks volumes? It speaks volumes to what? You and your attitude. My attitude is, hey, I'm naked. What do you want? What are you going to say to me? That's my attitude. I dare you. What are they going to say? Do you think they're going to go to the front and say, there's a man in the locker room that has a vagina? No one's going to say that because they would seem like a crazy person. No one's going to say it. It's all in the way you carry yourself. It's so true, Steph. It's so true. William says, I'm suddenly thinking of the lesson in the book series, a series of unfortunate events. Mash says, oh my God, thanks for the locker room story. I was so anxious about my future. Nope. I already fixed it for you, my friend. Trampoff fixed the locker room. It's open to you. It's open to every trans man who wants to use the men's locker room. I do it every day. It's open to you. I already got them used to seeing a man with a vagina. Don't even worry about it. Hope says, I work as a carpenter in the trades. I'm trans feminine. In my work clothes, I get misgendered a lot. I could let this upset me because it happens a lot, but I let it slide. I make a good living and I know who I am. I'm in a leadership position in my company, and whether they gender me correctly or not, they definitely take direct... I love you. I love you, Hope. That is such a great statement right there, and that says everything about you and the fact that you love yourself. Look, people, you know you're not, because you're being mature. That's a mature attitude. You know how you look. You know how people in the world react. You know exactly what's going to happen to you. So why are you going to get mad? You expect people to know? People don't know anything. If you're a giraffe, but you look like a person, but you look like a human, how are people going to know you're a giraffe? Unless you tell them you're a giraffe. It's the same thing about misgendering. If you walk into the room looking feminine, but your identity is masculine and male, most people are going to say, hey, woman, she, they're going to use female pronouns because it's what they see. This is a logical, mature explanation. Don't get your panties in a wad. It's a mature, logical explanation of why people get misgendered. The world sees things. What do you see right here? What do you see right here? Is that a B cup? Is that a B cup? It is a B cup. But what if I tell you it isn't a B cup? What if I tell you it's a 3 with a 1 next to it? What if I tell you that? Oh my God, you totally misread my cup. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's what you see is not necessarily what it is. But that's the reason why people get misgendered. Because their appearance is not the gender that they actually identify as. But the world sees you physically as what you look like. I don't know any other way to explain it. I see a B backwards. You see what I mean? But I see a B forward. And you see a B backwards. Do you understand? You see something different than what I see. Yet it's the same cup. So you and I have different visual understanding of it. And so we might think of it, I might see a B and you might see a B backwards. But how do we know really what it is? It's a really mature, logical way to look at life. You understand what I'm saying? It's a mature, logical. We need to get back to maturity. Let's be mature. And then there you go, Sylvia. We're both right. We're both right because we both see what we want to see. Exactly. We both see, our cameras are different. Our cameras see perspective. context, intent. These are very important words that we're missing out on in this community. And I don't understand why. Good morning, Robert. I'm a cis white gay boy. I'm here for the education. Doing acid was great. I'm still in a box. At Robert, I did a ton of acid. And if you're here as a joke, that's okay too. Maybe you'll learn something. But if you're actually really here, that's awesome too. Thank you for showing up. Check the box if you want to check the box. Don't check the box if you don't want to check the box. I check the box. I check the box every day of male. I check the box every day as a man with a vagina. I check my box every day as a bisexual human being. I check the box. So what? Everyone checks the box. Don't let people tell you that they don't. They have to, on some level, check a box. There's no way to walk the world without some form of identity. It's a real thing. So this idea that even gender nonconforming, yes, you are gender nonconforming, but you're still choosing a box. And you still have some form of identity. And if you want people to respect your gender nonconforming identity, you must also respect the binary people who choose to who check the binary box. It's real. Gender is not dead. It never will be dead. It's a real thing. So, kids, I appreciate you having that conversation with me. Bullying is very bad. Very, very bad behavior. GNC is an identity. Exactly. It's a real identity. But at the same time, so is male, so is female, so is everything in between. Every single identity that you choose is what? Real and should be respected. Hope says, yeah, work clothes and the trades do nothing for my feminine features, but even if I was a cis woman, these clothes would make me look masculine. It doesn't faze me because you're mature, because you have maturity, Hope. It's mature to understand. Okay, Nick, have a beautiful day. It's mature to understand the way people interact in the world. And it's mature to understand not everyone is going to agree with you. And it's mature to understand to listen to other people's opinions because you might change your mind. Now, one of the other things I want to talk about during this bullying talk this morning is that, as you all know, I work in the pornographic world, okay? I work in pornography. And in pornography, there's the gay world, there's the straight world, there's the interracial world, there's all different types. There's a lot of not this. There's not a lot of crossover. So, like, for example, a gay man doesn't necessarily shoot a straight movie, because there's a lot of homophobia, there's a lot of racism, there's a lot of separation within the pornographic community, if you didn't know that. That said, I don't like that. But everyone's entitled to what? Their opinion, and everyone's entitled to work with whoever they want to work with. So here's my next conversation I want to start with you. There have been about 4 or 5 or maybe more suicides in the last year in the porn world, specifically women. Gay men have been doing it too, but more of the cisgender women's pornographic world. So straight women is what I like to say. And I think most of them have all been white. They've killed themselves. Young women in the porn world have just offed themselves. There was this latest woman, August Ames, she's a porn star, who just recently killed herself. Do you guys know the story of this one? It was a big out there because August Ames decided she didn't want to shoot a film with an actor who is a gay actor and has done crossover. Now, there's a lot of homophobia, again, because they automatically think you have AIDS or they automatically think you're sick if you're a gay man shooting gay porn, which is clearly not true. We actually do a lot of testing in our community. So we have the lowest rate of HIV and AIDS interaction anywhere because we're very good about testing. So that said, she decided she wanted to opt out of the movie, and she tweeted, "To the girl who's taking my place, understand that the man you're working with shoots gay film." Now, that could sound like a homophobic thing. I don't necessarily think it was homophobic. I think her intent was to give her opinion of the fact that she didn't want to shoot with this man. No one told her that, and she was going to put the information out there for the next person to shoot that was the way it was. Everyone got on her ass big time. I personally don't really know what her intent was because I don't know her. But I'm thinking that her intent was not homophobic. It was to give information to the next person so they can make an informed decision. You understand what an informed decision is? An informed decision is when you have all the information and you can make a correct choice. But if you don't have all the information, how can you make an informed decision? Nobody told her that the guy she was shooting with shoots gay porn. So she got a little bit upset about it, and she was like, she has every right. Now, it could be a homophobic thing she's coming from, or it could just be that she doesn't want to shoot with this guy who shoots gay porn. Do you think that's homophobic? Do you think that's homophobic, or do you think it's her own choice and her own desire to not be shooting in a position that she feels could put her in danger? There's a lot of gay porn stars who don't shoot with condoms. Gay porn is very bareback, very bareback. I'm very, very conscious of who I shoot film with. Very conscious. That's not homophobic. It's conscious to see what other actor uses condoms or doesn't use condoms. I'm not shooting with a porn actor who doesn't use condoms. I'm not doing it. So if that porn actor happens to be gay and he shoots bareback porn, I'm not shooting with him. Does that make me homophobic? No. It makes me care about my body and myself and my sexual health. That's where I think she was coming from. She was coming from her sexual health, not homophobia. People razzed her. It's her own choice. I agree too. People came down on her in the LGBT community. People were calling her homophobic. They were calling her all No, I don't know if she killed herself because of that bullying, but that was bullying. That was bullying. I believe that. Hey, Dane, nice to see you. And good morning, Alistair. Nice to see you. So, tell me what you think about that. So people basically are calling her homophobic. She ended up killing herself. She couldn't take the stress. It was horrible, you guys. Horrible. Horrible. So Nate says there's nothing wrong with not choosing to shoot with someone who shoots gay porn. Protection practices need to be analyzed. Story says you are the only one looking after you. Your body is your choice. Dane says my funboy and buck off are on the way. I can't wait. I can't wait till you give me feedback. Story says your body is your choice. So in a nutshell, Alistair, a pornographic actress, cisgender woman, decided she didn't want to shoot a scene with a gay porn star because she wasn't informed about it. So she backed out of the thing, and she wrote on Twitter to inform the next person who took her space that the person she'll be shooting with does gay porn. Because nobody was saying it. Nobody was telling her. So she opted out, and she tweeted about it, and somebody said she's homophobic, and that started a huge avalanche of her being homophobic. But I personally didn't think it was homophobic. I was her giving information. And then a community just came down on her and was calling her a homophobe and she's a bad person. And she killed herself. Now they're trying to say that she killed herself over that Twitter interchange. I don't know. Nobody knows why she killed herself, but she did kill herself after that. And it's horrible. We're starting to see a lot more suicides within the pornographic world. And that's because of a lot of bullying, too. It's not easy to be a pornographic star. It's not. It's not easy to do pornographic movies. People judge you constantly. People are constantly judging me for my porn work. It's crazy. But we do. As pornographic industry, we get nailed by the population constantly that what we're doing is wrong. It's really horrible. Katie says, I think it's her choice, her body, her choice. It's the producer-director responsibility. But what do you think about her tweeting about it? What do you think about her tweeting about it? Do you think that it was okay that she tweeted that who's ever shooting the next scene must be aware that the man you're shooting with shoots gay porn? That's what she wrote. People are saying that's homophobic. I don't think it is. I think it's giving informed information to the next person so they can make an informed choice. Octavia says that is terrible. It sounds like she was just trying to protect herself. There's nothing wrong with that. I am sorry that she felt the need to kill herself. It's sad. It's sad. And it's sad to watch a community act the way that they're acting. How do we change this behavior? Why is the community like this? They're so hateful. Story says, I don't find it homophobic, but was Twitter the right platform? That's a good question, Story. I guess if you had no other way to reach the next actress. Exactly, because she didn't even know who the next actress was. Maybe she should have reached out in private. Again, Stacy, great point, and I totally think that too. So she might have made a wrong choice of where to put her voice, but does that make her homophobic? Does that? Nate says people wouldn't expect a mainstream actor to put themselves in danger health. Exactly. Good choice as well. And that's a good Okay, I gotta go, kids. Listen, I gotta go. It's now 9:15, and the time is going. And I love you guys a lot for having these great conversations with me. They're beautiful conversations. What they do is they get us thinking. And what get us thinking does is creates dialogue. And what dialogue does, it can change your mind. You can change my mind about my opinion about something just by having dialogue. I could go, oh, actually, you know what? I never thought about it that way. I miss you too, Stacy. We have to have a conversation soon. Um, anyway, it frustrates me, as you can see. Okay, here we go, kids. Goodbye, YouTube. I love you guys a lot. Thank you for always joining me every morning. And go out into the day. Do what you need to do, okay? Let's just fix this bullying behavior. It's just nonsense. It really is. So don't forget,